Relax begins like any carefree holiday, singing, sunshine, and a plan to unwind. But something's off. Beneath the noise and laughter, tension builds. And by the end, we're left asking, why is it so hard to feel peaceful, even when everything is perfect? From the start, Chilli is on a mission, not a dramatic one, but a deeply familiar one to any adult who's ever tried to switch off on holiday. She just wants to relax. That's it. That's her entire goal. A beach chair, a good book, some sun, and, finally, the feeling that everything can pause for a moment. But as anyone who's ever planned a vacation knows, relaxation isn't always easy to access, especially when you've built it up in your mind. The lift takes too long. The kids mash every button except the right one. She forgot the after sun. There's no dish soap. The book she brought, a self-help title about how to be happy, becomes more of a reminder that she should be happy than a tool for actually getting there. These aren't major disasters, but that's what makes them so real. Because the stress that builds in moments like these is rarely loud. It's quiet. It creeps in slowly, through little inconveniences, small stumbles, the subtle tension of wanting so badly to feel something and being distracted at every turn. And Chilli keeps saying it out loud. I just want to start relaxing. The problem is, she's trying so hard to relax, it turns into another job. While Chilli chases peace, the rest of the family moves in an entirely different rhythm. Bluey and Bingo burst into the hotel room like joy in motion. They explore every detail. The bunk beds become a throne, the soap becomes a pie, the safe becomes an oven. They make up a world, and they live in it instantly, without hesitation or planning. And if you've ever traveled with kids, you've probably seen this in real life. Their ability to find wonder in the smallest things. A hotel closet becomes a game. A folded towel becomes treasure. They aren't concerned with getting to the beach or making the most of the trip. They're just already in it. For adults, this can be hard to watch, not because we don't love it, but because we've forgotten how to do it. We've trained ourselves to seek meaning in productivity, structure, or achievement. Even on vacation, we feel the need to schedule joy, optimize it, capture it, make it worth the price of time away. But kids don't schedule joy. They stumble into it. And in Relax, their joy isn't a detour from the holiday, it is the holiday. Chilli just hasn't realized it yet. We often think of rest as something that happens when everything else is done, when the to-do list is empty, when the kids are sorted, when the chaos has cleared. But Relax shows us something else. Chilli gets her beach moment. She sets up the chair, opens her book, and reads. Wherever you go, there you are. And she can't do it. She puts the book down. She picks it up again. She tries to sink into the moment, but she's still trying. And that's the problem. Meanwhile, upstairs, Bluey and Bingo are creating magic from nothing, giving themselves bubble beards, singing into shower wands, playing mermaids in a hotel safe oven. They've already arrived, and Bandit sees it too. When Chilli comes back, defeated, saying, I don't know how to relax, he doesn't give her advice. He just gestures toward the kids. You want to learn to relax? Go get some tips from the masters. This is the moment the episode shifts, and something familiar happens. Chilli stops trying to control the mood. She doesn't reach for the book again. She doesn't head back out for another try at relaxing the right way. She just sits and watches. Bluey and Bingo are launching each other off a recliner using the foot lever, over and over, giggling uncontrollably. They're not making memories on purpose. They're not thinking about whether they'll remember this moment. They're just doing what feels fun. And Chilli, for once, doesn't redirect them. She doesn't say, "Be careful," or "Okay, that's enough." She just laughs. She observes without managing, without multitasking, without mentally checking what needs to happen next. She even says it aloud. "You kids just go about it, don't you?" That line hits differently when you're an adult, because if you've ever tried to force yourself to unwind, at the beach, on the couch, even just over a weekend, you've probably felt that same frustration Chilli had earlier. Like rest is a test you're failing. But watching someone else, especially a child, engage with life without overthinking it can be disarming in the best way. It's a reminder that relaxation doesn't come from getting everything in order first. Sometimes it comes from letting go of the need to be in control. Bandit doesn't offer a fix either. He just brings her a cup of tea. Not a grand gesture, not a pep talk, just a small act of care. Something solid to hold while she figures it out herself. And when Chilli walks onto the balcony, closes the sliding door behind her, and takes a breath, it's the first time she's truly on her own terms. No checklists, no shoulds, just a moment to herself, without expectations. It's not perfect, but it's enough. And if you've ever tried to transition from being on to being present, whether it's on a holiday, after a busy week, or even just in the evening after work, you know how strangely hard that can be. This scene gets that feeling exactly right. Relax is one of the gentlest episodes of Bluey, and one of the most emotionally honest, because this isn't an episode about someone learning a skill or completing a task. It's about what happens when a parent, especially a mother, is finally given space and still doesn't know what to do with it. That moment when everything is finally quiet and you still feel the need to do something, to prove you're making the most of it, to make the relaxation productive somehow. Chilli's struggle isn't dramatic, but it's deeply familiar, especially for adults who carry the invisible labor of keeping a family running, who are used to staying alert, staying responsive, staying on top of everything. Letting go of that role, even for a few minutes, can feel strangely uncomfortable, even vulnerable. But Bluey and Bingo model a different way, one that isn't about escaping from the moment, but falling into it. Not asking, "Am I relaxed yet?" Just asking, "What's fun right now?" How many of us have finally reached a moment of rest, only to find we don't know what to do with it? The kids are happy, the to-do list is done, the weather is perfect, and yet we feel restless, guilty even, as if we should be doing something more productive with our downtime, as if we're wasting it by not feeling perfectly peaceful. This episode gently reveals how relaxation has become another thing to achieve, another item to perform. It's not enough to take a break. We feel we have to do the break right. Read something meaningful, meditate, soak it in, make the most of it. But Chilli reminds us, sometimes you can't relax on command. Sometimes you need time to uncoil, to let the background noise fade. And sometimes, watching your kids giggle at a recliner launching them across the room teaches you more about joy than any mindfulness book ever could. There's also something quietly radical in Bandit's response. When Chilli returns defeated, he doesn't try to fix her mood or push her to stay at the beach. He just offers a warm mug of tea. He makes space. He trusts that she'll figure it out, without pressure. And maybe that's the bigger message here. The people around us don't always need us to solve their tension. Sometimes, they just need us to hand them a cup of tea and let them sit with it. Relax doesn't shout its message. It doesn't end with an epiphany. It ends with a breath, a sip, a slow smile, and a reminder that sometimes the most meaningful kind of peace comes not from seeking it, but from simply noticing when it's already here. Joy doesn't always arrive when everything is perfect. Sometimes it shows up when we stop trying to chase it, when we stop trying to make the moment feel right and just let it be. If this episode made you smile or reminded you how hard it can be to just sit still, we hope you'll like and subscribe. We explore the quiet truths behind Bluey, one episode at a time, because sometimes the deepest lessons come from the simplest gifts.